Hey, what's going on? Well, welcome to another episode of The Way I See It. My name is Chris, and we have a great show for you tonight. I just want to go ahead and apologize to the people that come in every night at 9 p.m. to get the latest podcast. We ran into some difficulties on our end. We were trying to make sure we don't have it happen that close next time. We got a good show for you tonight. I think that we're going to be working just a little bit more from last week's guests on the show, which was Ryman Gaijin, aka Rhyming Matthew, aka Manifesto. If you don't listen to that episode, take some minutes and pay attention to the last week's episode. I think I'm gonna go ahead and drop out the full interview for people to kind of listen to on their own leisure. I won't make it as an actual episode, but it will come in the feed. I think I'm also going to do that as well for this week's and next week's video. As you know, this Yamanote Tech Society is basically a business that's basically working on our business is helping you understand how to make a business while we build that business in real time for everyone to be able to see. The issues that we usually come against is that sometimes we want to change things at the last minute, or we want to add something, and sometimes things are pretty cool if you just do it a different way. And for these podcasts, I'm going to be focusing on trying to make them just a little bit more consistent. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to just work on just doing whatever I can with the time I have available, and we will see where it goes. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go ahead and introduce Rhyming Gaijin once more, and then we're going to go ahead and listen to the latest pieces from the second part of the episode. All right, stay tuned. Hey, welcome back, and I'm going to go ahead and just, start the interview. And what I wanted to go ahead and do is just take a moment to kind of reintroduce Ryman Gaijin. So basically, a couple of years back, probably like over a decade ago, I used to listen to YouTube as a form of like entertainment about things that were going on in different countries, especially Japan. Ryman Gaijin, I came up. I don't really remember exactly the reason, but I do remember looking up things about Japan or about it had a lot to do about visiting Japan, or there was some people that were on YouTube talking about living in Japan, and he had some good topics that he was talking about that I felt that that was pretty much right down the aisle for me, to learn more about. And I followed him. He was basically he's an entrepreneur, at heart. Grew up in that way in the States, decided to move to Japan. Moved to Japan, started to maybe like do his hustling for to build his brand as a rapper. He always liked writing art, and but Japanese wasn't the first thing. Spent a lot of time studying Japanese, and then he started a YouTube channel where he talked about like his rap music and things. But noticed that he found better opportunities to get more views if he just talked about his life in Japan, which was one of the big things back in the day. I really enjoyed his videos because I felt he was more real when it came down to learning about his what we would kind of say is like his personality. On like his perspective was a little bit more towards my perspective. Well, at least my anticipation on what Japan was supposed to be like, but didn't really think I'll even be able to have a conversation with him until this time in the year, 2020 now, and I'm actually on here and I'm trying to share my piece, and I want to be able to have like a list of interviews of people I've actually talked to, so I can, leave a little bit more behind, learn a little bit more about the person, and just, have fun with this. So here's the interview, the first few pieces. I think this is like 2 hours in. The topic at the time was actually, I was asking Ryman Gaijin about the different things that came across his mind after he was on YouTube, and the things that we learned and whatnot. So
often. But it's saying that we're in the arc right now where the creativity is being changed. The way that people are able to be creative is being monitored or being controlled. That's interesting. I mean, to break it, to not go too far off, what would you tell someone now that is looking to be on social media? Let's say that somebody says, hey, you know, I mean, guys, I grew up listening to your music, or I wanted to go to Japan too, and I wanted to become a musician. How would I go about it now? Can you give me any tips? If you can give like one tip to someone, you know?
One tip.
Three tips. I'll make it easier, but three tips, you know?
As I think it applies to every country, but specifically Japan, because I'm here. Don't believe what you see.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of mine. If you're coming to Japan, be a blank sheet of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Leave all your what you think. Like, you watch, and it is what it is. When I came here, there was no one to watch. But now you could click in and find anyone. You can find your white guy, your Indian guy, your Spanish guy, you can find whoever you need to represent you in Japan on doing some type of video.
Right.
But they're going to color your paper. So you're going to come in, like the people, it is what it is, but some of the black channels, they tend to focus on the negative aspects of Japan.
Right.
And you, who never stepped foot in Japan, you see that, and now all of a sudden it's already in your brain. Oh, they're looking at me because I heard that this guy said, and it's going to change all your interactions. Where I didn't come in thinking, I didn't come that way. I knew nothing about Japan. I had the goal to rap here. I'll be the first rapper. There was rappers here. I just didn't know they existed.
Mm-hmm.
I just like a kid. You know, the kids stick things in their mouths and they touch everything to learn firsthand. They don't jump on their. It might change now because kids, little babies, got iPads, but they're experiencing it firsthand. They form their own opinions about things. I mean, their parents are doing it, but now you watch. Like, there's a dude, and he's on my Facebook. I met him a while back, and he posted just a verbatim. He said, actually, I don't want to say, but I'm gonna say. He said he was on the train, and this person got on there, a Japanese person. He's black, so the person sat next to him, and their face had such disdain, and they were looking at him and just making the face. And when the doors opened, they couldn't get away from him so fast, and then they tripped and fell on the platform. Now I've been in Japan 11 years, and I've never, but here's the crazy thing, even though I've never experienced it, it doesn't mean it couldn't happen. And even if it didn't happen in the way he's saying it, it doesn't mean he couldn't experience it that way. You can't take those things from anyone. But if he was a bigger YouTuber or someone with influence, I mean, at least within his little Facebook group, all the comments were, like, they were supporting his viewpoint. No one was dissenting. And it's just like an echo chamber. Yeah. And I wanted to be that one guy's like, well, did you smell? But it's not my place to question someone's reality. And this goes back to
So let me just clear that up real quick. The black person, the person that felt disdained was the Japanese person. Not the black person that came and sat beside him. and the person that you're talking about, black person is your friend. He talked about this story about him being on the train. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then what happened was once the train, came to a stop, and the Japanese passenger was in such a hurry to get off the train that he tripped and fell off of the onto the platform. He was okay. He just fell.
I mean, the story.
Meaning like he walked away from it.
He just the Facebook story ended, and then he fell. Period. And then everyone was like, and God works in mysterious ways. God has nothing to do with the guy falling, and I hope that he did. Like, they didn't care about him. They didn't care. So I had to unfriend him or unfeed him because, I mean, every post is like that. And I know a lot of people. But
Matthew, you know what I see? I think I hear that you have you have a different perspective after 11 years. You see that it's not only one way. Your perspective has changed, or has not changed, has grown.
It has changed. It has changed, flipped, multiplied, divided itself, which again is why I'm a little hesitant for the new YouTube channel if I go, because I'm not that guy. I'm trying to see if I could find a happy medium, but and like where was I?
Do you think that people should? Do you think people should see only one version of you? Then,
I mean, if we go to the numbers game, the analytics game,
let's remove the numbers game. Let's focus on the fact that maybe you could find, let's say you could find 1,000 people that would watch you just because you're being you, and not worried about millions of followers. Just people who, respects you, that loves the type of work that you do, that would buy anything that you wrote or you create, and you can probably sell these things, perhaps, whatever profit you want from making that product, times it by 1,000, like that type of thing. Like, do you feel like can you find 1,000 people who can do that?
It would be work. It would take work, take some time, but that's ideally what I want. I mean,
okay. So what I basically think that then it does mean something. I think that because I can right now we've already been speaking for an hour and a half, more than an hour and a half, and there's just so much that I would love to talk more about, and I really think that you are in a good position to to really start to blog or write a book or something more about this idea. Or you know what, we can I can take this. I could take the information we have right now, go through it, and we can talk more about it. Because I think that that's what's important. I think that there's always information that is necessarily needed to be found, to be learned, to be consumed. But instead of just looking for new followers, you actually continue to work with the people who already understand those things, because I think that, just what you just said just now, that your perspective is different, it's changed so much now, and that you kind of second guess what people should be doing in the future. Because if people are going to come in now with this whole new way, your information might be necessary in order to stop that from happening. Like you might have to have that information to help counter it, because it's a story, and I think everybody likes having a story. So I don't want to talk too much about it. What are your thoughts on that?
So I found when I was showing my house and you saw the Homo Deus book.
Yeah.
That's
Homo Deus.
that's
Yeah.
And that's what I want. That's why that bookcase. I moved in. I made sure I had a bookcase so I could put books in there. That's like maybe my equipment, my music stuff, and then my books.
Right.
No one ever looked at the books. Even if I bring the book to the place, I'm like, this is why I'm saying this new thing that seems left out, seems weird. This book inspired me. Seth Godin, he's the Find Your Tribe, Find Your 500 People. And his words technically got me into business school. It's like, you got to find your tribe. So I joined a meetup, and I took over the meetup, and then I went to this meetup, and there was a business school meetup, and then I joined everything's connected in that sense. But I find that if you know me as rapping guy, and I come to you next day as photo guy, there's this weird, very few of my I don't feel I'm limited to one. So when Kanye West goes from A to B to B to C, it's like he's not limited to one thing. No one is really.
No,
but
not.
It's the way. It's people don't want to feel uncomfortable, so you stick to what you know. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But and then when people step out their little bubble, it's going to be rough. You're going to make, it's a learning process, learning thing, or so at some point you get good enough for people like, hey, look at, people buy his ugly shoes. I'm not buying a Kanye West shoe, but, he finally got what he wanted, and he moves on to the next thing that so I'm telling, I made a couple of videos when I was in business school saying, this is what I learned at business school, and I remembered that they weren't interested. Views dropped. They were arguing with me as if I'm making it up. It was like, this is a Harvard business case. If it's good for Harvard, it should have some merit. I just want to share it. It really turned me off. That whole, and then I broke with my girlfriend, and the comments that came from it were just so. If there was one time where I was doing birthday shout outs, and this person's like, yeah, my birthday's on this day, and time zones all different. So I'm like on the other side of town, and I'm running to my house because we didn't have phones with internet at that time, or phones with cameras. So I had to go to my house to the computer to do this. So I'm running as if the end of the world is coming, just so I could make a birthday shout out to this random person. Like, that was me. I'm going to do as much as I can for these people that I don't know, because I felt it means something. So on the day when I made this video with my ex-girlfriend, hey, we broke up, because that's what people do. We're human. And the comments coming from people that, I've seen them in my posts and videos for years, it wasn't very nice. And it really put the nail in the coffin for me. Now, if I was making money outside of that, then it's one thing. But I was never doing it for money. So to have that response, so this goes back to being genuine. I put it out there like that, so it hurt me like that, and there was no reconciling it, which just set me off on do something else with my life. I guess
Do you feel that the way you think right now probably needs to have a different medium? Maybe you should move. Maybe you should, instead of you trying to make a YouTube channel, what you would do is maybe talk about it, like maybe on a podcast or a blog like this. Do you find that this helps people to understand? Because now you might be, because who you're talking to now are people who don't probably know how you are on. You're talking to Matt, for instance, you're talking to me who I only heard and seen the good things. I could think about, like, there are some times that some things, probably don't go the way you want them to go. But I still feel like that's still information that could lead to some form of entertainment where you can try to maybe turn into, because now you could talk about business, because whether you believe it or not, you have a business online. That business brought people attention. It was a transaction that happened. It was between the viewer watching the product that you created, and that caused a view or a like or whatever. So and if you remember reading the book Homo Deus, Yuval Noah Harari talks about that the information is the asset now, and it's not, the actual fiat money. So if you wanted to get the fiat money, that'll come because the information is key. So I really think that you have a plethora of information to really talk about. There's going to be a lot more people going to Japan. The 2020 Olympics going on right now. You might even have time to even talk more about it because of what's going on in China and how that is going to probably slow down a lot of production, and people are going to want to find out more. Like every time I talk to people now about anything, people would have their own spin-off on what they think is going on with the virus and how it's affecting different people. And I think that alone can really help, because I'm really you going back to school, the graduate school, and working on yourself, is something that I think is a testimonial in itself. So what I can go ahead and do right now to kind of make sure I pinpoint all the different things. Oh yeah, we were asking about 3 points. Oh yeah, so you have 1 point. Can you give 2 more points? Like on if.
Okay. So what's his name? Colonel Sanders, the real Colonel Sanders.
Kennington.
That's not him. Barnum. Well, so I could do it this way. If they can understand why they're doing it,
mm-hmm.
why are they making the video, why are they doing the podcast? If they have a strong enough why,
mm-hmm.
then everything else. They don't have to make a business plan. It helps. They don't have to write out whatever. It helps. But if they know why they're doing it. So for me, my why it wasn't stated, but I want anyone. So I always, this is just me, but I find I say I'm a random guy. I'm not this. I don't do much. Because to me, I don't see it like other people see it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're in Japan. You're doing. This is what I want to do, and no one could have stopped me. Like when I said I'm going to Japan.
Yeah.
It just came out the blue, but no one could. It was even if you try to stop Matthew from going to Japan, I was 18, 19, 20, whatever, college at least. He would have to lock me in my room. Like I made a decision, I stand by it. But my why when I was making the video and the content was I want other people to know that the world is bigger than their bedroom, their block, their basketball court. And my view is because other races, other ethnicities, they do travel to Europe for the summer, and they do. But where I'm from, we don't do that. We don't have passports. We don't. It's not a reality. But it's like I look like, for me, I was saying you probably look like me. You're probably I'm not. There's nothing super special about me. I'm a C student, mostly because I slacked. I read my books. I just, I'm a slacker, whatever. Procrastinating.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a paper about procrastinating, but I procrastinated and I got a C on it. But it was a good paper.
Maybe you would want to blog post that, about procrastination, about your thoughts on procrastination. Did you ever think about that?
Yeah. But so
you understand what I'm trying to get at? What I'm trying to say is that I also am in that situation. I mean, like, I don't like to talk about me, but what I'm trying to say is that I think that we keep thinking how different we are, but there's a lot of things that make us unique, you know? And you might be able to come down to a point, 3 points to tell people, it sounds like one point is that you don't necessarily have all of the things that people may want to people. You don't have all the things that people want to hear from you anymore. So you're saying to me that you need to find your why for that. That's your first thing. Am I correct? Find your why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I can sort it down. And then the second point is, you're not necessarily that extraordinary in your opinion. And
that's right. The first one is be blank.
Be blank.
We quote Bruce Lee, be like water.
Okay, be like water.
Whatever, but that's Bruce Lee. Mine is be a blank piece of paper. Don't come with your there's a word, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, you don't become. Yeah, leave all of of your expectations at the door. Don't bring. Don't bring.
You can have. Well, bring your expectations, but leave the negative, because you want to.
The negative.
So, like my brother, he's like, yeah, I didn't know Japanese girls had asses. Why wouldn't they? like to think that a whole race of people only look one way, because leave all that. Come here and open your eyes and look.
Yeah.
See shit. Don't, when I go home, they're like, so, and they're asking me pointed questions about girls. But don't take my word for it. Come out here and see for yourself, because I don't interact with all Japanese people. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't play ball. So I don't meet so many people, because our circles don't intersect. So you could come out here and you're a race, you do kendo. So you're going to meet the type of Japanese that are fit in that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have different ideas and different experiences. Mm-hmm. So we could be here for the same amount of time and have two different experiences and both be correct. But if you are doing something, so come here just blank, be ready to absorb. So that's one. The second one is have a why. Why are you out here in the first place? So this could be anything. What is your point? My point is I want to help people, because although we are the same, we're unique, but if you go really far, we're just specks of dirt, dust. We have a lifespan about 100 years or less, and that's it. So within that time, we should do something
worth doing. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel that. I get that.
I mean, it's a new thing I just read from this guy, and he Humble the Poet.
Humble the Poet.
Rapper. It's a random rapper from Canada, Indian, Punjabi poet guy who wrote a book, and his first book was just the only thing we're certain about is death. So all the other stuff is not really, we don't know the other stuff. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but death is kind of final. It's certain for rich people and poor people, white people, black people, and it really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I get focused on some minute thing of now, but, death.
Do you feel like does are you more aware of it now than you were when you were younger? Is that something I can say?
Well, I think
Like,
with everyone,
yeah.
the older you get, I think because when I go home for Christmas, or when I go home, this is the conversation that my friends are all having. Remember when we used to do this, but now we're doing this. Yeah, I got my kids and I'm doing that. Like, I think it just comes with, like, some days I get up and I teach kids now, 3 years old, and I'm sitting on the floor, and after the class I have to get up and my knees are all like old knees, you know? Like, damn, I'm old. But, you know, when I'm young, I wouldn't have thought of that, but now it's a thing to think about. I think that's just a time thing.
How do people treat you? Like, do you
me?
feel like they treat you? Yeah, meaning the age, like, you know, like one thing I can give you for example is like I used to be able to since I graduated from high school to like maybe till I actually started working my first full-time job after college. I went to go visit my friends in my high school, and it was during the school. They would still look at me as like a young person, like, hey, what are you doing out of school? I'm like, I don't even, like, I'm not even in school, but like, but like now, if I come in, I'm kind of like dressed up a little bit, people ask me like, sir, do you have the time? Do you have the change? And I'm like, sir, like, am I a sir now? And I think that's what I'm getting at. Do you see that now? Do people look at you as much more of an older adult figure than you were when you were younger? I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you get what I'm trying to say.
I mean, so I don't act. Well, I don't know how to say this. So I guess for my peers, because the way I am, I find that they may. So when I email people, I put my good mornings and good evenings, and I try to be business about it. Like, I respect you, so this is the way we should conduct ourselves. When I'm meeting, in general, when I'm supposed to be somewhere, I'm like early. I don't really mess around because I don't know. That's just my character. But right. I'm not serious. But so I find people not knowing how they should address me. Like, it's
like, you're too serious.
I'll keep saying this until I don't know, but I've done a lot of things, but I don't feel like I've done enough.
Okay.
My friend today, he said, Matthew, every time we meet, you inspire me. And I might have said, well, I don't feel inspiring. And then he comes back, but you did this and you did that, and you're such a... And I come back, well, it doesn't really... But it's pointless because that's how he sees me, and he respects my time. And
right.
But it's
yeah.
I can't explain what I'm feeling because I never expected to be having a conversation with you when I made my channel a long time ago.
Oh, really? How are you feeling you're putting yourself out there to a total stranger? Does that bother you at all?
What's a good example? I can't think of a good example, so I'll make one up. It'd be like...
All right, welcome back. That was just like the first 20, 25, 30 minutes of the episode. You can see that, Ryman Guy is pretty laid back guy. He has a lot of basically things to say about what he thinks is going on in the social media atmosphere, what he's learned, and you can also be able to kind of see if he's actually pretty easy to talk to about certain things. Um, if you want to find out more about him, you can always check out Ryman Gaijin on Facebook or Ryman Gaijin on YouTube. That's like all one word. And he has another website, like a YouTube channel called Beta Test, where he's kind of like fleshing out all the pieces that he's going to be start coming back onto YouTube, doing more music and beats and social media stuff like that. And he doesn't really have like an actual way to, like, he doesn't have an actual, path exactly what he wants to do, but check him out. You can also basically find out about him on the Bandcamp and SoundCloud as like Ramen Gaijin. He has some music that he does for sale, and he also has a special cassette tape that like he's actually doing where he puts like all his music on a YouTube USB, and I think the music is actually from 365. Let me just make sure that's what it was. Yeah, it is 365. Yeah, it is 365 edition, and you can buy that on his site, and support him, see what he's looking to do. Even if you're interested in finding out more about this guy's basically thought process, just stay tuned. I have some more coming in right now.
You're in the shower singing, and you're singing, and then someone comes by and they're like, "Was that you singing?" Like, yeah, I just sing in the shower sometimes. Like, we want to sign you to a deal. And you're like, what? I just sing in the shower. Like, oh, you got potential. That's in that kind of sense. Now, the person who's saying that, they know what they feel. They feel that you're worthy of it, but you're singing in the shower because it's what you do.
Mm-hmm. You're doing what you always do.
Like that. I used to say this a lot more, but now it's kind of, I'm coming back. I changed. But I used to say, once I get my Grammy, then it will click. Yeah, I'm somebody now. I'm validated. But it's wrong. You got to validate yourself and blah, 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 blah. But that's how I used to feel. Now, since I chose this new path of I don't need any external things to validate me, because within my peers, when they talk about Bob is just the guy who works at McDonald's. When they talk about Tony, he's the one who got the Jaguar. There's a different tone in their voice. There's a difference. And I've seen it in business school. If one guy comes with his business card and it says Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, you work at Chuck E. Cheese. That's nice. If the other guy comes in, his card says Goldman Sachs. They go, oh! Like, it's a different. And this is just how you come with your girlfriend and she's, you love her, but she's, He comes with his girlfriend and it's like Beyonce. People are going to, and I don't, and I've been thinking about this. I don't know if it's malice.
Mm.
It's just the way we're wired. You got an iPhone 11. Like, I ask my students, what phone do you have? She's like, I don't got a phone. I was like, wow, sucks to be you. But that's just that's a lot of 5Ss, 6Ss, and then one's like, I got an iPhone 11. I got an iPhone 10. How do you have a better phone than me? You're like 13. But the balance is, since, like, I find people who have more views than me on YouTube do not reach out to me. Like, this, I got 1 billion views, but why don't we do something? It doesn't happen. It's usually someone who never made a video that's like, hey, man, why don't we try? And I'm, okay, let's try. But when I start to drill down, the reasoning is, well, you got 1 billion followers and I got 0. So if we work together, they don't say it, but I can benefit from you, which that's not.
How many people, sorry, you could work on that. How many people have talked to you that had smaller channels that were trying to talk to you?
I mean, I don't keep count, but
More than 10? More than 20?
yeah, more than 10.
Okay, so these videos, these people that you work with, have you tried to collaborate with them outside of that one interview?
I mean, like so if someone watched my videos, you watched my videos or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you know me, whatever, you know of me, it's this conversation. If you never seen, there's a podcast, I should send it to you for reference. So a friend of mine, I call him my friend, but he came out to Japan a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
He emailed me. I think he was asking me about school or something, and I sent him a typical Matthew response. It was thought out, and it was like trying to answer all the questions given the information I have.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do much, but and that was the end of that. Then he moved to Tokyo. I think he was living like 2 hours outside of Tokyo. So he moves to Tokyo. He's like, "Hey man, I've been watching your channel, and I never got to see you rap, and I'm having a show. So can you come rap at my show? I would be honored." And I was just like, okay, why not? So I go to the show, and he's just like, wow, and you know, he paid me once $4. That's all the money that was left after everything is paid up. $4. I was like, I didn't need. It's not money that needs to be, but he just wanted to give, and that's his thing, and so that's him. You know, he doesn't. Then on the other end, so then there's this podcast in Tokyo, and they're like, we need someone, and he's like, why not rhyming? And they're like, okay, but I don't know who this guy is. They didn't really do no research about me. And maybe they watched the top 3 videos, but you wouldn't get who I am by those 3 videos.
Right.
So I get on there, and this guy, the guy who invited me to perform, he's there as a kind of mediator. Because I don't know how it would have went if he wasn't there. So they're just like, so tell us about your top 5 videos or top 5 artists. But I don't have it. You probably notice any question you ask me is not really cut and dry. But if you see my videos, you know that's kind of what you're going to get. You're ready for it. But they didn't know, and they're just asking me, and I'm doing me, and they're just like, man, you are one weird, nothing so weird. It was just a weird vibe because they don't know who I am. They're not in awe of anything I did because they never seen it, and they didn't. It wasn't. A couple months later, this local rapper guy, he goes on there, and now they're like, because this dude was signed to Raucus back in the day. He's Japanese, signed to Raucus. He does this, he does that. He looks impressive. And I could see that they were more impressed. And he carries himself way different than me, and yada 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 yada. But it's just.
I think that you honestly, to me, I really feel like you should probably have been on more podcasts talking about yourself. And you should have. I'm looking on your thing right now. I'm trying to figure out where the interview. Did you ever bring up the interview on your or any of your social media links at all? I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just saying that all of us, every single one of us has a story, and this is my first time like doing a podcast with somebody I don't know like personally. You know, I talked to people before, you know, for school and for work and stuff like that. You know, I interview people for my, you know, that I work at, like the company that I work at, but not like, hey, you know, I watched your stuff. Your stuff is pretty cool. I like how the story is, and you know, you said sure, and now we're just talking. Not because you know, I kind of cold called you. You know, I just reached out, and And I really, why don't we have these? You know, could you imagine you did an interview once a year and it's like on your YouTube channel or on your Facebook page, and people who and you keep in contact with them and they get in contact with you, and they can make clips out of it. You could say that the top 3 tips, you know, that if you're going to start a podcast from Ramen Guys, yeah, right now it sounds like it's not that great, but you know, 7 years later, you know, it might be something great. If something else happens that connects people back to that, you know, or if somebody actually, you know, decides to, you know, to maybe start a podcast and wants to talk to you about it, you know, it's a resource, the information, you know. I mean, to me, I hear your story, and you know, I hear more and more, you know, and I think that, you know, it's just, you know, I really think you should probably put more of that stuff on there. Maybe you could put it on that tape. I actually want to buy that tape by actually right away. So if you could send me that link, you know, I would like to, you know, go ahead and use that as the opening link for my for the video. Because what I plan to do is I'm going to probably talk in real time about this discussion, and then add the clip and continue to go back and forth with that, and then maybe lead out with just special clips that talk about, you know, the things that you touched on, you know, in a way that people can easily get to it, you know. And then I'm going to be continuing going on, because what I talk to with you is going to be something how I'm going to talk to a lot of the other guests that I'm going to be talking to. And it's not really like a comparison, because there's not comparison. It's more about people just having their ideas on their lives and going through with them, you know, and trying to get people to hopefully not tell them the way to go about it, but people will eventually see the perspective that I see, the perspective that you see, and be able to kind of comment and talk about it. Because I'm pretty sure now, you know, I'm not using I don't use YouTube. I used to use YouTube to just consume, you know, as a consumer, just clicking on things, putting things in perspective. You know, for me, you know, like, oh, I like watching this, I like watching that. But now being, you know, much older and realizing that the internet is not the same, and reading a few books that kind of help set a tone for what's going on now, what's to come. I kind of like the idea of creating, you know, and I think that it helps normalize everything that's going on in my area. And it's not really about trying to it's not really about making a statement or trying to get like a whole bunch of views, because it's more about documenting these things in an authority way, where people can learn how one thinks about solving a problem, you know, or working on their dreams, you know. Because like I said, that you were some of the few people who I knew was actually in Japan, and one of the videos I remember is you talked about your living arrangements when you first got there, how you just did it, you know, and you went ahead and just made it work, you know. And to me, I didn't have that desire. I didn't have that desire to go do that until like 2009, where my situation with going to work, it was like I could just go right now. I don't need to go ahead and like go get a job. Because I was trying to do it, but I didn't really push as much as I could have. But once I finally got out there, I was able to meet some of my friends that are there now, and I met more friends, and I realized that all my fears were all in my mind, you know, and there was a lot of things going on, and I actually liked it. I've been going back every year, at least twice a year, once or twice a year, and like I'm going to be doing videos more about myself too. So, and I'll be linking them out if you want to listen to them as well, because that way you're not about being a stranger. But I'm just trying to get people to understand that, you know, I think that it's because Japan is so different from my own life, you know, people were looking at me like, why are you studying Japanese? I would be on the train reading a book entirely in Japanese, and people looking at, oh wow, it's so smart. I'm like, no, I just don't know when to stop learning. I just continued learning for years and years and years. And now I see people online doing that too. There's a woman, her name is Kemushi-chan or something like that. And she kind of like talks about living in Japan, and she's like works remotely. She's married to a foreigner, you know, and she does her little videos. And then she also collaborates with someone else. I'm sorry.
What's your name again?
Kemushi-chan. Kemushi-chan.
The black girl?
Yeah, the black girl. Yeah, black
with glasses.
Girl. Yeah, with glasses. Yeah, and she talks about a lot of different things. And the thing about it is that the way she does it, she does her own little thing. She gets people to listen to her rant about to JLPT, to her work routine, and then she also collaborates with other people. Because if you notice that now we have like the comments on the bottom of YouTube that allows you to comment on it, and then like if you click on the person, you can even go to their channel. You know, many people aren't doing that, but I think that's going to be the future, where if you want to get people to follow you on YouTube, you have to also create a little story about yourself on your YouTube channel, and then you can comment on like-minded people, and people will be like, oh, sure, look at this guy, look at this girl, look what they're doing, and you can kind of talk about the same thing. Like I really think that, you know, looking at her channel right now, she has 10 everyday Japanese words that you're saying wrong. You could put the same thing out there, and it'd be totally yours because it's just about you. And you could have other people on the show, and you could, you know, maybe go out and do a free show for somebody, and then let them record it, and then you tell the store like, hey, you know, I can maybe, you know, help build yourself some business or whatever. I mean, like, I think that the creativity is the key, and I just hope that I want to be a part of that somehow, you know, like, and reaching out to you was mainly because I don't have the like the, what do you call it again? Like I don't have the like the I guess I don't know how to really say it. Like I'm trying to get it. Like what I'm trying to say is that I don't have the connect to really do the things I want to do. Like one of my friends online, he has a website. He's a friend of mine. He's actually one of the people I went to Japan to go visit. It's called Import Gaming for the Win, FTW. And my friend Brian, he doesn't show his face at all. He's not a big fan of showing his face, but he does like a whole bunch of videos about Japanese video games. And because he knows about the games and stuff, he can talk about them in real time and make screenshots and stuff. And he got himself a little circle of people. All he does is he just talks with them, just other gamers, other otakus that just watch these games. And he's half Japanese and half American, half white. And you know, he's not really nothing else about it. He's born in South Carolina, so he has a lot of black friends. You know, which is kind of like why he kind of like dated Psycho while he was in Japan and liked a lot of music from this after today. But he also noticed that even though he was half Japanese, that they looked at him very weird, you know, and he, you know, had to struggle with that. I always told him, I said that you really should like talk about that, you know, so the other half Japanese, half black, you know, half white people that come to Japan can relate with you, you know, like we're looking at building like this is like dictionary or encyclopedia, you know, like everybody's not the same, but if people are going to capture people in a certain way, it can work, you know. And that's what I find exciting about it, you know. I listen to your ideas and your thoughts and stuff like that, and you're pushing that what's in common is that you're pushing against like the differences that are coming your way. You continue to grow, and you are growing, you know. Like there's a book, there was a talk about the master is inherently a student, you know, and because you say in like, you know, Socrates says because you don't know something is the reason why you continue to Because you're intelligent. You're the smartest person in the world. They said, "Fuck," because you say you don't know anything, and because you say you don't know anything, therefore you keep moving through life, and that is important. And you may have, and I think in our future we're going to have the people who's going to be cheering us on are going to be total strangers. There's going to be people like me talking, listening to you, and following you. I'm going to have to delete. I have like 800 people on my account, on Facebook. Like I do parties. I was in school. I met people over, and I just like them. I don't care about really what's going on generally in your life. And they kind of just post a whole bunch of like nonsense. They're also afraid of posting themselves online. So it's hard to talk with them. I'm like, I have some friends even Japanese I kind of like. I'm like, I haven't seen you in like 3 years. I said, you post like 3 times a year. I have no idea who you are. And because I know about, what people can do, I'm trying to get people to understand about two-factor authentication, making sure they change their passwords and stuff. Because I said, people, you're not hiding from anybody because you don't show your face. They know who you are through your connection, and they don't understand that, And I'm like, seriously. I mean, telling them, like, just because you change the name doesn't mean they don't know who you are, They know who you are, They got your IP address. And I just tell people, I'm like, listen, you gotta just, I think if you're gonna live in this world, we're gonna create data. We're gonna create information. If we're gonna create information, we gotta show. We have to like at least start acting our true self. Being who we truly are. And I think that now I'm probably gonna go through a lot of your videos even more now and try to find out what's going on. It actually makes me looking at your videos now, like I'm more excited to listen to these videos now, and to see what was going on like in the last 7, I think 3 or 4 years. I think that the one videos I'm talking about, like I don't see them up here anymore. I think it might have been the ones that the 80% that you thought was garbage, you probably deleted. But but that was the whole thing. I think that it's important to do that. I have some videos of myself online. I just used to just post, and I don't mind sharing that with you so you can be more comfortable talking to me, so you would understand that it's a mutual thing, like using YouTube and trying to connect with people. But the algorithms that Google use are being changed now to be more focused on smaller circles. That's what I'm thinking about. Like the whole rise of like the millions of subscribers are not going to be there. That's why like PewDiePie, I don't know if you know PewDiePie, right?
Okay, I know of him. I don't think I ever.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, like he's like one of the he had the largest subscribers base, but now you have T Series, which is basically from India, and they're like they're a YouTube channel that helps smaller groups of people get on YouTube. So and basically but whenever they make a video, they're making a video all underneath T Series. So no matter how big anybody gets on the show, they all are working directly through T Series. So it's kind of weird, but like it's like a business because they kind of do things on YouTube. They make their groups, but they're actually working underneath this umbrella, And I think that I'm trying not to focus too much on like the views. I'm more excited about talking to someone that gets it, it would be much cooler to have 5 or 6 people who kind of like understands this whole entire style, and they don't have to necessarily be, black. It could be Japanese, it could be, from India, it could be Chinese, it could be whatever. It's just some people just understand that, and I think that it changes with time. People get older, they don't get a chance to really see it, and and am I clicking at all with you, or is it too much? I don't know.
You're
well, I don't feel like it's like you're just quiet all the time and you just don't. It's just like you understand it, but
it'd be like all these feelings I had about YouTube I put it in a little box and I put it on the top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it is. And as you're talking about this grand view,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that I couldn't implement it that way, but that's what I wanted my channel to be, a platform.
Mm-hmm.
People to share their stories, and I want to teach them what I'm learning so they could kind of skip everything and get to the fun part.
Yeah.
And I was looking for those people who get it. I was preaching. I was out there with my analytics book. And it was just too early,
Mm-hmm.
or just my method's kind of like Kill Bill, that the old sensei that would beat her with a stick when she did it wrong.
Yeah.
Love. That's my approach. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna hold your hand, but you can call me at 4 a.m. at night, and I'll walk you through how to do X, Y, Z. But I'm never going to do it for you, because
Right.
if I die, you're not gonna know how to do it. No one liked that style, but whatever. So I agree with what you're saying, and I think now the way things are, now that most people understand that it is feasible to get on Twitter, or get on Face or Snap, or pick a medium and find a group of people who are interested and monetize it. It's a thing now. I guess it always was a thing, but now it's you probably know someone who knows someone who knows someone who did it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so distant from you now.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that, yeah. What?
Like what I found. So in the reference to Logan and Tony Starks and all that, I feel jaded. Like, I believe in all these things, but it didn't.
Can you explain what jaded means to the explain that word? Because that's not that's not like an after word people domestically use. And you might have people here who's learning English for the first time.
I feel.
It's okay. I can. I mean, jaded. I'll paraphrase, please, and you could just say yes or no, and you could be honest. Okay, so jaded means you feel like you had an opportunity to get something, but now it's gone. Like somebody took it from you. Like you've done something, like someone say it doesn't excite you anymore, but it leaves you tired. I'm looking online right now. Is if you've done something so much that it doesn't excite you anymore, but just leaves you tired, consider yourself jaded. If someone says you look a little jaded, it just means you look tired. Does that actually fill the term? No.
I guess I'm using
You're just
it
not.
that way. I don't know. Well, I guess that is the word. But maybe I'm putting some watered down version of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess you could take it just as is. I believed in YouTube. I slept, breathed, ate, read my books. I was all about it, and it just never came into be. Well, it did. Just it's as if I plant all these seeds. Planting seeds. I don't see any trees, but some trees take like years to grow. And then I came back one day, and there's all these trees growing there. All these connections, all these like last year someone hit me up and said, "Hey man," I was like, "What's up?" He said, "Can you make a beat for me? I know you make those beats." I'm like, "I'm sure." He's like, $50 okay? I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" I made the beat in like 5 minutes, but I'm like, you know what? He's paying me, so I made 3 more beats. It was done, but and he's like, I still remember when you went to the store with your girlfriend to buy Evisu, because on that particular day was payday, and I was stunned, and she's like, I bought myself some jeans. I'm like, "Do you want something, baby?" She's like, "I want this sweater." these are like $200 clothes. For whatever reason, I was just stunned and I made the video. That's what he remembered. That was his rhyming Gaijin moment. And then years later, he's buying my services. But how would I know that would have happened? I was just, that's again, the third thing. You can't be so focused on what's going to happen. You just got to do it because you never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have analytics, and you kind of know if you get up on your channel and say some racist shit, you're probably going to get buried in trolls, and they're going to PC your ass. Yeah, you know that's going to happen. But you come back from it. But I wasn't thinking of the grand picture. This is me. This is my brand. I'm Payday. This is my woman. For me, if you ever see me on the camera long enough, I'm not looking at the camera anymore. Well, live stream is different because I cannot live stream when there's like 0 people in the room, or it's weird because you're actively trying to live stream. But if I'm making a video, like I'm freestyling in the street, the camera is like the system I'm technology-wise what I'm trying to build up to. Yeah. So I'm going to use a 360 camera so I don't have to hold the camera and you could see me or whatever you want to see. Wireless mics or headset mics so I don't have my hands be holding anything.
Right.
Now, nothing is blocking me. I can go about my business where before I got to hold the camera in this way and I got to get the mic this way and I got to just break down that wall. And I think the freestyles, the ideas for this concept, like a musical. I'm just walking down the street and then bust into songs. It'll be like a rap song. And I played around with the concept. I just needed music to be able to be fluid with me. And now the system currently I could set up in like 5 minutes. But next week I'm going to rent a camera, a GoPro 8. It's not ideal because it's not what I want, but when China can give me my new 360 cam, that's what I'll be using. But
well, I hope you get the 360 camera soon. I mean, like if anything, and hopefully by the time we get this out, I can let people know about the next videos that you're going to be making. You know.
I mean, this. Like the biggest complaint, I mean, I didn't erase the videos, but at one point, this is right around business school, I was kind of like, I should be modest because we took a class called platform strategy, and I'm like, hey, I got a platform, I'm doing this, and the whole thing was they should pay for it. Their money should be moving somewhere. So I got on YouTube, and I'm like, hey, you guys should pay me do this, and that didn't really go so well. Like, why should
how about this? How about this? For how about, can you make me a couple of beats that I will use inside the next podcast with your music and intro and stuff like that? And then how much? And then you can, I could definitely will pay you to make those beats for me. And you can make it. I don't know, whatever you wanted to. How many you think is necessary. Because I believe in that too. I believe that you should pay as well, for different things. But I think that we have to find a way to, we need to do it first and make it a thing so that people around will feel like that's what they should do. Because I know there's a lot of Instagram influencers online, like the models, the girls that try to get stuff. They get paid. They do a whole bunch of crazy, and honestly, I think it's because they get so much attention, instantly, but for the wrong reasons. Like some of them don't understand that like most of their followers are just following them because of like what they post, not for what they actually need. And I would like to change that too. If I think that your beats is would be a great way to kind of like work on that. Even if this podcast, I don't know, but like the whole thing about it is about, I don't know, like you can also get if somebody gives you if you make a beat for somebody and that beat is hot and people listen to it, then you probably can also get people to want to make more. So like you would probably make, like I would make like for instance, I would probably work on building people like apps or blogs using different technologies for work. But then like if they person uses it and they go, oh, how'd you get that site put up? Oh, well, so-and-so did it, So by word of mouth, you get more work, So you would hope to kind of make sure that you're talking to people who are looking to do that too, Sometimes most of your audience, you can't tell what they're actually looking to get. I'm hoping to get people who are looking to make business online and we all work together, So like another podcast that would hear this music that might want their music to be made for them or make something. So because right now I pay out of my pocket to go use some online store, that has like all this free royalty stuff. It's very what we would call I'm not connected with it. But like if it's a song that it's something that somebody personally made for me, I'm gonna keep using it because it now has some value to it. You get it? And you want to make sure that it's like, you can even talk about that. You can make a post about that beat and how you put it together and what it made, if it made sense to you or didn't make sense to you, and then you can post that, live, And I don't know. It's all about creativity. I find myself I have all these ideas constantly firing out, and I'm up all night sometimes trying to put things together. But I would love to do that, One of the reasons why I say that, honestly, before, there's a you know the Yamanote line, right? You know the Hasa melody. Is there a way for you to incorporate the Hasa melodies, those melodies that they played before that the train departs? Like, can you go Akihabara? Go. I did an entire presentation. I was in school about the Hasa melody because people were looking at me because because like they were like, why would you do it? I'm like, because that is so epic. Like when I went to Japan, I'm like, yo, Japan is a fucking video game. Every fucking song, every single tone is a fuck. Even the when you walk across the street. Or when the last hour and they play the song that they played during the New Year's Eve, it's like the last hour train. And I'm like, yo, I love it, and it's mainly because of the accessibility. They gotta pay attention to people who are blind and stuff. So, but if you could do that for me, if you could make something like one of those links and add that beat to it, so that way, because I want to have that flow. I really want to go into this whole thing where each clip, there's like a small melody from the train, or like an announcer saying, we're about to go to the next station or something. I would like to do that,
That, we have some similarities. When I came
have
here,
some similarities?
I noticed that.
You know about it too, right?
Also,
I'm telling you, son. It's so epic. I'm sorry. I had to just freak out because I know you had some thought about that. I know you, it's there. Well, go on. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, let's see. It has this. So there was apps. There was an app that had the original songs, so you could play it on your phone. And
oh, you mean like the Yamanote sound? That melody?
Well, all the trains. So including Yamanote, but different trains have different sounds. Recently, they're using like Disney or songs that are not. I mean, they're MIDI, I guess, so you could put any song you want, but whatever. I remixed the. Like for me, anything I heard enough times probably got remixed. So the end of the year song, I did that last year for the end of the year.
End of the year song. Is that on SoundCloud?
It's on Instagram. It was a song. So in that song I made saying next year I'm gonna start my 365 and this is that. could definitely do those. That'd be fun project.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that, Matthew. I'm really am serious about that, and I would definitely would want to. I'll let people know, ahead of time, that I got, a new intro song coming out for, made by, the Rhyming Gaijin, or I'll say Rhyming Matthew, and hopefully, I'll have something, I can start using, because the thing about it is that this whole idea of like utilizing the content the content we have to consume as a way of validating who we are and what we stand for, it means a lot, and I think that the presentation, I didn't really know how to really talk about it, I think that I needed to be this age. I mean, I just turned 37 last year, and doesn't feel like 37, but I feel that I always knew for like the last 10 years. When I started the first year I went to Japan in 2009, I've been keeping like all my videos, photos, music, clips, messages, but I always wanted to go back and to kind of do something like a story for everybody to kind of like be able to listen to and read and stuff like that. Because now if I meet somebody online like you, for instance, you don't know who I am, right? You don't know, and like you probably wouldn't say anything to me if I wasn't on your Facebook for a while, and but because I promote I asked 6 or 7 people already, like 4 or 5 of them already like said they wanted to talk, but you were the first person to actually schedule it earlier. Like I have one, I'm like the 16th, and you said it earlier, and I'm doing the video, and I'm like, this is like the greatest conversation I've had in a while, because I feel like, time is very valuable, and you don't get a chance to, when you go ahead and you try to, when you meet people on YouTube, we don't really engage with each other like this, but you could engage with people like this, and in a way that you start out with, your books or your testimony of like whatever you're looking for, and you get people like that. Do you know how many people like us are like scattered all over the country, all over the world, and like with our technology, we can use that to find them, to start to build those things out. One guy I know, I think I recommend you to. You ever heard of the Black Experience Japan web YouTube channel? You should go on it and talk to on his channel. No?
Yeah. Oh, this is a pride thing.
Okay. What's up with the pride?
Just a pride thing.
Like you have too much pride not to go on his show and interview in it?
It's a pride thing. I'm telling you, it's a skill thing. So if he, or she, but I think it's a he, if he reached, because I was following him for a while, my friend was on there. I told my friends, I told everyone, all my black friends, you should be on his channel. I'm not going to ask him to be on his channel.
Why? Why would you do that?
Well, first, it's the thing that I don't want to. I had a friend. Well, he's still alive.
Which friend is it?
It's off the record, but this guy, he asked me if I could do this thing.
I can go off the record. We could, if you want to go off the record, fine. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. But fine, go ahead.
Like, he does a newspaper, or he writes for the newspaper, and he wanted. So a lot of people, because it's just what it is. If they're starting something, they reach out.
Is it Star Wolf?
Who?
Star Wolf?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, go on. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead, Matthew.
He's like, I just started this column in the newspaper, and I want to do a piece on you being a black person in Japan. Can you do it? And I was like, no. don't want to be known as a black guy in Japan. I'm more
Agreed.
than that.
Right.
I asked, and I kind of said that to him, and he kind of took offense to it because, you know, he's starting, he needs someone. But, you know, eventually he would find people, and he does TED Talks now, and he's on TV, and, you know, whatever. So when I saw this Black Experience channel, you know, I'm watching it, and it's people going up there. Some are like doctors, and some are just teachers, wide range. Some are female, some are skinny. And the one part was like, so how do you feel about being, how people treat you? And they go, well, you know, there's prejudice, they got to change. That just makes me, they don't have to do anything. Japanese people are Japanese people. Like, I live in Japan, so just last week I did a photo shoot with this guy from Nigeria. He's black, but he's not American black.
He's from Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigerian. Never been to the States. But his experience of being black is different. So I was just saying, you know, because he wants to do TV or modeling, I was like, you got to be careful. They might give you some jobs that are not really the best look for us. What do you mean? Like, you know, they might have you being like a robber or a thief or something. That's usually how they cast us out here. He's like, I don't care. I'm like, well, you should care because that's the perception they're going to have of you. But he couldn't see because, you know, where he's from, he has other issues. And Japan is kind of way out of it. He's like, I'm really in Japan. I'm going to get a wife and kids. I'm going to stay here. Where today, my friend, he's a white guy, speaks fluent Japanese. He's like, you know, I don't like it out here. I'm going to leave in 3 months, which is shocking. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's like, you know, we'll never be Japanese because we're not Japanese. But he's fluent, where I don't speak the language. But I found a lot of people who speak he was saying that this keeps happening to him. He'd be like, hey, da-da-da-da, but he's speaking fluent Japanese, and they're like, oh my gosh, how did you learn Japanese?
Yeah. So good. Oh, that was hot.
That's what we get, but he's getting it, like he's saying a full conversation. They're saying, how is it possible that and I was telling him, I wish you never said that because this is why I don't want to learn Japanese. I don't want to explain every time I speak because it's annoying. I learned the same way you learned. You went to school. You did it. But he's just going on about how he doesn't like it. The people are. But this Nigerian guy, he had a whole different concept because wherever he's coming from he doesn't want to go back there. That's what I got from him. He's going to make he's going to make the right changes to make it work for him. So back to this Black Experience channel. I think it's cool. I saw that he did a thing where he brought someone over, or he paid for someone's ticket. I don't know what happened after that. I think it's really cool, but it kind of just, as I said, if he asked me to be on the channel, I would consider it, but I won't email him saying, can I? And the pride part comes, I was probably here before he was here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, if he's here as long as me, that's one thing, but how do you skip me and go to all these other? But it's a pride thing, and that's something I gotta get over.
Do it. Well, I don't know. Honestly, when I actually looked at that channel, I was looking through trying to see if he did talk to you, but he didn't really talk to a lot of people that I haven't met before. Like online, I was actually surprised on how many people actually were actually there. Even the guy, it was one guy. He's like He's black, and he went to Harvard or something, or something. I forget. It wasn't. I forget what it was exactly, but he was there for years. And I might be mixing that up, but he went there. He was there like in the 80s or 90s, and now he became a Japanese citizen. But what was funny was that he was married to a Japanese woman, got divorced, had a child, but then went back to like Jamaica or something, and married and came back to Japan and became a Japanese citizen. And they were like shocked that he was married. She was married to a Jamaican woman, and he was like going to become a Japanese citizen. And like, what?
You're talking about Henry.
Yeah. That shit was a pop pow. Like, yeah, that's what you need to start doing. That's what people need to start doing. Don't. I would if I was going to like start like a YouTube channel like and like talk about it, I would just start talking in Japanese. Like, it's not about trying to, impress anybody. I would just go on there and I would just I would express myself in Japanese, and like that's what I said I would do. I'm like write up these nice scripts, make sure that somebody in Japanese reads and understands it, and just go at it. Done. Just like that. What would you like? Do you take any of the videos that you have here and just say it in Japanese? Because when you say it in Japanese, it's like you're saying it in their language. They can't just turn it off, Because there's a guy right now. There's another guy. His name is Yuta. Is it Yuta from Japan or something? The Japanese guy. He came on the show. He came on the YouTube channel and like started like downing black people. You remember him? And he's like saying why black people are so angry over slavery. Slavery is over or something. I don't know if you remember that one. No. He kind of makes a. His name is Yuta. Is it Yuta from Japan?
I know who he is.
Yeah.
And he gets his views. He gets millions of views. And my friend, when he was at the height, I don't know what he's doing right now, but people started to email me, oh, you got to do something about him. And he has the right to do what he wants to do. But he's like because black people get up on there and say, white or Japanese people this. So he's the Japanese person, he's going to get up there. Why? It's always, I don't know, I'm black. Some things are good.
Yeah, I know. What I'm trying to get at is like I understand the Nobita, that's his name, Nobita from Japan. What I'm trying to talk about was that he went on the show and didn't speak English very well in the very first, and he was speaking in his like very basic English fluency and just getting a whole bunch of rage. And then he apologized a lot for it, and then he just changed it into this whole nother show. So I think he did that to play with the algorithm to get views, and then after that he switched over to what he was talking about. And like he kind of does things online now, like he says like, why do Japanese people commit suicide? Why do Japanese people cheat? He even went into like the porn industry. I'm looking at his reel. He has like interviews people like why do people watch porn? Why does Japanese porn star, why did she get married to Shima Ken? She's he goes into the Yakuza and dying. So he kind of like came up to be like the beacon of information, So that's sometimes I say like it could be the same thing, for like any other channel, to be able to kind of like put those things together. I just feel like we as people who watch this entertainment, we're being left to make up our own stories. And if you had to, that brings us to another question before we ran off in that rant. What type of story would you want people to think of you if you just left YouTube and Facebook altogether and just went off social media right now? What would you, and like that now people can always search for you online, what would be some of the things that you would want people to say about you?
Man, he could rap. He's such a good rapper. I would want. So, I mean, this is all new, and I didn't. I was talking to someone the other day, and they like asked me a question on the spot, and they're demanding me to answer it. which is frustrating because
Like what? This? Like what I just asked you people?
I have an answer for this one, but every answer I was giving them up to that point wasn't good enough. So they're asking me, I should sell my paintings or my pictures, my photos. And I was saying, nobody wants to buy my photos. I got lots of photos. Well, basically naked women. There's some men in there, naked people photos. And I'm like,
the pictures that you said you were right. So you said you was in photography. You're doing photography. Okay.
And so, but she's an artist. She's a painter, and she's just digging in that I should have a gallery, kind of like what you're saying. But I believe in what you're saying because I have been doing this all my life. Photography is like 4 years, 5 years. I don't need anyone to tell me I could rap or make a beat. I know that regardless of what you think. But for photography, I take what I like. People like it. I know I still got somewhere to grow. I don't think I'm like, but she's like, you got to do it. You got to do it. But to answer your question, the things I don't want anyone to focus on the things I'm doing. It could be photography, it could be rapping, it could be climbing Mount Fuji, it could be making USB tapes. Those are just things. I don't want people to get caught up on those. Like, oh, you freestyle every day for the year. Like, it's just a thing. What I want them to take away is it was hard. Like, it doesn't come easy to do whatever. I made a decision, and there's sacrifices I had to make that happen, and I kept at it. Like, if I told you one model costs about $100, that's a studio and that's her fee. There's more fees, but just say $200. And then I told you I've taken about 180 models in the past 4 years. If you did a quick calculation, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
money.
actually pretty good.
Cool.
So photography is really big in your circle of.
Maybe I explain. I didn't receive 200. I spent 200.
Oh, so you spend $200 to pay a model to do something. Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty significant. Yeah. So so you're taking you're building your craft, your new craft, 4 or 5 years, right? In 2 years, and within 2 years of those 4 years, you actually did some actual modeling where you had to pay a model to do pictures of her, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's expand a little bit more about that. Do you feel now that you're more comfortable using the camera than you were when you first started?
Yes.
Yeah. And the amount of money?
All right, hey, what's going on? So this is going to be the last part of this segment. There's going to be some bonus footage or bonus audio that goes on in the ideas of what would happen after the interview. I kind of continued to speak with Ramen Gaijin basically on the ideas of his future, gigs and whatnot. And here's a clip. It's a small clip for 20 minutes of what we were kind of like going over. And if you want to find out more, just head to yamanote.tech or basically hit us up or follow us on Twitter or Instagram at the Yamanote Sen at Instagram, or we have Yamanote_intech on Twitter, and on YouTube we actually started a website was called just the Yamanote Tech and Society Podcast. You can look that up, where the first episode will be, and along with other clips that goes on into smaller detail on what we were talking about. This way, if you want to just go back and listen to certain things, you can. I'm hoping to basically have more videos, more interviews that have like consistent questions. So if there's any questions that you want to ask people who've been working inside the internet, social media, let me know. And hopefully we can get them on and be able to get that information to you guys. And here it is, the last part of the interview.
Money you spent, do you feel like it was worth it?
I mean, so as you're saying, information, I should do a podcast or this. I'm actually, for photography, it's easier. Everything else seems to be on like whatever. But I'm going to make a kind of a DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Or book.
Why don't you? Why when you look up for the DVD? Like, I don't want to. Why don't you have like a gallery online?
Well, what I want to do with the DVD is, so the dude who taught me, his name is Matt something, and I bought his. It's not a DVD in the physical sense because who really has a DVD? But I call it. It's a tutorial video. You download it, like on Udemy, like one of those kind of sites.
Okay. All right.
So it's just on his website. You click on it, download the thing, watch the videos. So I want to make one showing you don't have to spend as much as I did. I just didn't know how to do it. Because models, they're hustlers, man. They will take you. If you go in there looking like fresh meat, they will charge you whatever they think you'll pay. Now, my negotiating skills are like, you know what? I'm not paying you this. Take it or leave it. Some take it, some leave it, but it's not the end of the world. Like that concept. Before it's like I need to find my nude models because I need. They saw that hunger and it's probably with anything. When you negotiate, you need to come with leverage. You got to come with something. So this is what I want to, or the shoot. I couldn't find the models. I didn't know how to use a camera. Couldn't find the studios. Couldn't find anything, and I had to figure it out piece by piece in the most expensive way. But eventually, I figured it out, and now I want to help new people come into Japan figure it out too. I'm gonna charge them for this. It's not going to be like free information, but it's going to save them money. It's a valuable thing that instead of wasting your time, you're gonna. So this makes sense to me. Everything else is kind of it's maybe because photography is not my heart. It's just a kind of hobby in a sense. For music, YouTube, my life. Like, my lyrics are basically my diary. And to monetize my diary is weird. I can't. I'm still figuring out. Photography is its own little box. So the girl asked me about this, and I'm still formulating this, and she's like, "Just do it, do it, do it, do it." I don't like being pushed, so we got into it, and she hit me with we talked about it later, and we never talked about it again, and it's probably for the best, because, yeah.
So right now, I definitely think that that you can definitely sell something on. I mean, I would want to learn about how to do photography. I have a camera. I mean, like I did some photography when I was in school and stuff, but the old 35 millimeter, and like how to manage that. And then we were starting with digital a little bit, but after it's been like over 10 years now. So I don't really have. I would like to learn more about taking photos in darker areas or buying cameras, and stuff. Mainly because a lot of the things I'm going to be using for my own business is going to be all self-taught. So let me know if you create something. I'll definitely buy that from you to go ahead and and you can probably add like a story about how you struggled with different things and stuff, and because I would like to, because the thing about it is that I taking pictures of like inanimate objects is one thing, but then taking pictures of like photos of like another person, let alone a nude person, I don't know how that takes a lot of business entrepreneurship in itself, you know.
It is. It is. It is. It is. I don't know. Like this. Just I've been thinking about it for. I should have started about it, but life is happening. But just the story, like even if you're not a photographer, the story of awkward Matt having his awkward encounters with his awkward. My first model was an adult actress in the Japan industry, retired or older, but that's just.
How do you get the actual the connection? Like how do you get the contact? You know, first contact. What is that about? How's that?
I mean, that would be in the book or the thing, but Craigslist. Well, first I asked all my friends. And
Craigslist in Japan.
Yeah.
Wow,
Craigslist
I didn't know that Craigslist was in Japan. Yeah, I know it is, but I did not know Craigslist was like that popping in Japan. Normally, I thought they would have their own variant.
It's not popping. So my girlfriend at the time, her friend said she met some guy on Craigslist, and then we all went up to somewhere and we're just talking. And I'm like, wow, Craigslist, like just what you said. Wow, Craigslist works. Then I went on there looking for models, and then I found one. She was terrible. I never even posted it. So, and I found another model. It was interesting. She liked Michael Jackson, so I stayed up all night making a Michael Jackson list. But I could have used Spotify, or I don't think Spotify was doing whatever. Either way, and we're just dancing through the shoot. Half the time we weren't even shooting, just dancing. Then I found another model, and she's like, "Yeah, my portfolio's on this site." And I clicked the site, and it's called Model Mayhem, and it just has, it's worldwide too. It has models and photographers and makeup artists.
Mm-hmm.
So on that site, it has everyone listed by what they do or what they don't do, and I just emailed everyone cold. And I refined my pitch until
entrepreneurship. Yeah.
As of 2020, because I went through that site 1,000 times. I done emailed everyone, so I wanted more. I'm hungry. I want more. I have a shoot coming up in weeks. It's not expensive, but I just want a lot of models. So I typed in Japanese Google, because Google is now like more advanced than it was. How to find nude models in Japan, hiring nude models, and kept Google that and use the Japanese in their Google, and then start to bring up all these like super hentai lists.
Yeah.
And then I found ones that are listing kind of like Model Mayhem or Craigslist. And I go down that list, send my little Google translated thing, and then some will hit me back in English. Hey, I English study. Some will write back in Japanese, just translate it. Like all this, someone could have told me this, like I hate. I mean, it is what it is, but I hate that I have to learn it this way. Because I asked every one of my friends, and none of them were able to. I even asked the models, and they're not able to find me more models, which is weird. Japanese models, they should have this is so important. So
let's take a minute to go back. So you don't. So when you don't necessarily work with anybody that does any cosplay. That probably does that as well. It was specifically nude models.
My thing is, I'm talking to you. You're you are okay. I'm talking to this. I'm looking at this girl. I'm looking at her
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and she's like always naked. That's what she's
Mm-hmm.
posting. So I would approach her, do you want to do nude modeling? Pretty cut clear. That's what she has, that's why. If they're doing cosplay, that could be that's what they do. They have sexy cosplay, but I don't shoot. Because basically, you can't go to the shoot and be like, hey, sexy cosplayer, can you take off your clothes now? Because now it's weird. Some people do that.
Okay.
Backwards. But I don't want that. That's what, from the very beginning, and this is just me being, this is all over the place, but when I think of France, it's not important. She's a nude model. I hit her up on this one site and say, this is what I want to do. She looks at my portfolio. She's like, I like some of your pictures, but I don't like, to be honest, I don't like your other pictures. Then my approach was, well, to be honest, I take all kinds of pictures. So this is what I want. She's like, can you send me some examples? I sent. She's like, it's not my thing. That's fine. I'd rather not go back and forth. Or the model. The pictures she posted are the pictures that I take. So when we're taking a picture, she's like, wow, these are, I love your shooting style because we matched. So I'd rather find people who match than try to convince people, which makes it harder for me.
Do you feel like you would ever do an interview like this with your models that you're actually shooting?
You mean?
Like, so if people go to your, let's say, if you close your eyes a minute, just visualize, you have like you're a photographer, you have a photography website, you have different models, you basically, you have different models that you're definitely working with. One of the models, probably gets more clicks, views than normal, but then you have a podcast that talks about like the models, like idea of like what made them get into modeling, what they actually think is difficulty about modeling, how, stuff like that. Maybe you would do like 10 minutes, 3 minutes, you would, and cut it down, and you would have this collection of videos, so that now you can probably even talk to bigger models, because now you get not only have all these pictures of them, but you also now have like this story of like people you've interacted with. That's just all yours. It's not anyone else's.
I for whatever reason, against Seth Godin, I think he goes into, it's about the stories sell products, stories. And the way I talk is usually in story form. There's a beginning, there's some drama, there's a resolution. It's natural. It takes a longer time for me to get my points across. And I find people, Judge Judy, my mom's like, hurry up, say what you got to say. But when I talk to the models about more, like, yeah, I'll pay you for this shoot, but why don't we do more? Let's do a story. Let's do YouTube. They can't see it. It's like me explaining analytics. There's, for the most part, if you're cute enough or if you're willing enough, whatever, there's always going to be someone to pay you money to be a model. So they don't have to do anything more.
Right.
I have a model I'm working with. She's 20-something. And she's just like, we were doing some outdoor nudes with my drone. And she just came out, because I did it twice before, and the models were we all were kind of like, yeah, I don't want to be, I'm worried my drone's going to fall out the sky. They're worried about being nude outside. We were cute. We didn't get anything nice. But then this model, we're like in the middle of this, like, everyone's canoeing spot. And she just takes off her clothes as if there's no one around. She struts around. She lays on the rock. And I'm like, wow, that I've never seen that. And then my other friend, so there's two of them just running around naked outside where people can see that and they just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, why don't we? I approach her like, why don't we like do this tutorial? We'll make a video teaching how to make videos, and then we could make more money and have a bigger reach. And she kind of, like I'm still waiting for like.
I definitely think that you're onto something. I like that you're. What I'm trying to get at, you're trying to find a way to spin these nude photos into something else, and it's difficult because many people are already comfortable with what they're already doing, right? And they have to be hungry to go for more. Yeah.
There was a point where on Craigslist, there was this Brazilian Japanese girl. So think of a beautiful Brazilian mixed with Japanese. So she's pop, 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 pop. With the photo she posted. So I pay you $100, make like 20 videos in a day. Just kind of serial bang, 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 bang videos. Just little short ones. And I, like, this is verbatim. I said, we're going to make a story. You're going to be doing something, and you're somewhere in the back. You're not the focus. You're just there. And eventually, people are like, who is that girl in the back? And then we're going to meet, and then we're going to, that's like the 20th video. It's like, hey, something like that. We'll see how it went. But she kept saying, no, if I'm on there, everyone got to know my name because I'm trying to be famous because I want people to know who I am. And I'm like, yeah, but no one, she had a channel. No one knows who you are now. So why don't we try this kind of mystery way and make mystique around who you are? And she's looking at me. I get this when I was with a rapper 2 days ago. He's 3, 4, 5 days ago, or 2 days ago, because I gotta hit him back. But and same story. So I'm telling him like, yo, we can go to the studio right now and make a song. But I want to do more. I want you, Japanese guy, to talk about your experiences on my channel because it's always about me. So you do your part, I do my part, and we can grow an audience, and then we can sell them our songs or whatever. But he kept coming back, so are we going to go to the studio? Listen, I make beats and freestyle. That's not the issue. How are we going to create the story? He tells me, you know, I'm an accountant in the day, and I rap at night. Like, that's great. Why don't we? No, I don't want anyone to know I'm an accountant. Like, why? Because, you know, that's my life. But it's, and so that's interesting. Like, he has, like, he's kind of hip hop. He's been to New York. He's been there for a while. So he has that, gotta look cool and gangster, and I respect the Run DMs. I'm like, cool. He quoted a Snoop Dogg. Of all the people he can quote, that's who he chose. I respect Snoop Dogg. He's real. He got a good story. And I'm like, yeah, what's your story?
Yeah.
And he circled back.
I know what you mean.
Are we going to record? Are we going to record now? I'm thinking because literally, we make a song, no one's going to care about it. Who is he?
Right.
They know me. They might listen to it's me, but who are you? And if we, I didn't tell him this, but if we were to separate, if we do it right, people will still follow him because they care about him.
Right.
Use me as a platform, and I was like, I don't know if I want to. I mean, I left him hang. I told him that Tuesday I'll hit you up tonight, but I'm running pages. I don't know if he's a Japanese guy who wants to rap in English. I'm like, I want to do a Japanese song with a Japanese rapper, rap the Japanese, and I don't rap these.
Where did you get him? Where did you find him at? Like, how did you get in contact with him? On Craigslist?
So a long time ago, well, you know, Japan is Japan. So when I got to Japan, there was other black doing what they do. This dude, he was doing open mics. I would go there because I just came to Japan, and this is where the hip-hop was. And then he disappeared. And then this rap Japanese guy was talking to that guy, and he's like, yeah, you got to check out Rhyming Gaijin. It's crazy. I don't know if I see him, so what's up? But we never talk. He doesn't email me. He doesn't like anything I post. He's like telling, this is that thing, people watch my videos, but I don't know how. In my mind, I thought he didn't like what I'm doing. I don't know the conversation, but I didn't know he was actively saying, go check out him. I don't think we're
you're breaking up. Hold on. All right. I think you're back now. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just I had to cut you off. Let me just make sure that the audio and everything is okay. I'm gonna give you a call back in 2 seconds.
One fine day you realize, to your astonishment, there is no way at all of having your mind anywhere else but in the present moment. Because even when you think about the past or the future, you're doing it now, aren't you? And that results in a very curious transformation of consciousness. You feel that the present moment is flowing along and carrying you with it all the time. Just like the flow of the Tao. The flow of the Tao is what we would call the flow of the present. See? And you're with it. There's no way of being anywhere else. The Zhongyong, the book called The Unwobbling Pivot, says the Tao is that from which one cannot deviate. That from which one can deviate is not the Tao. Or to put it into the form of a Zen story, the master Joshu said to Nansen, what is the Tao? Nansen replied, your everyday mind is the Tao. Joshu asked, how do you get into accord? Nansen replied, when you try to accord, you deviate.